and welcome along to another episode of this FM21 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. We're back today for part 121, and I don't know really what's going on. It's been a strange start with Rangers, I think is the best way of saying it. We're getting towards the end of the transfer window. There's loads of action flooding in and out of the club now. The bank balance is starting to hemorrhage again, and we're on a knife edge in Europe. So later today, we'll be facing Club Brugge for a place in the Europa League. But before that, it's our first Old Firm derby, and that is going to be a very difficult game. So if you're looking forward to all of that and finding out how we get on, who's joining and leaving the club, and how we can do in our two big games, please do chuck a thumbs up on it. But I think the biggest thing we can say after the last episode is we've seen the importance now of Morten Gertsen. Because if we have a look at the schedule, we'll obviously look at any names you don't recognise in a moment. We beat Ross County 1-0, bouncing back from that horrific start against Kilmarnock. Young Carlos Martins got the goal there. It was tense. I didn't change anyone. I kept the exact 11 on the pitch. Gertsen started. He got the assist despite his poor rating. Kieran Henderson started instead of Finn Malcolm. Neither of them looked very good. But then against St Mirren in the League Cup, Morten Gertsen got his hat-trick. And he just was a standout player for us. So all those worries about whether he could cope further up the pitch, how he'd play in a different position are gone. Morten Gertsen's going to be my star. I mean, away in Europe, we didn't do particularly well. We struggled against 10 men for half a game. Andrew Richards, who I think is a Welsh striker yet, scored both goals against us. He's very decent, to be fair to him. We got our away goal from a set piece. It was Finley Burns, the centre-half, who scored it. But it wasn't a good display, and we were lucky it was 2-1. But at home, we've now got a chance. We've got to get through Celtic first though, and the legs are going to be tired. And then by the time we face our former club Dundee at home, we're probably going to have to play reserves again. And as we've seen before, we haven't got a big squad. We haven't got a full 11 we can change. However, in those lineups, you may have noticed the odd new name about. But let's go and have a look at the transfers. A few of them on the bench for the first time on Thursday, but not really a massive turnaround until very late in the window here. We've got Iman Griffith, who we mentioned at 30 years of age. Very versatile, very strong, but not necessarily the best player at the club. And he is the highest earner. So if the director of football can get him off the wage bill for 52 grand a week, it does basically mean he's the wage of 3 players. If we can get big money for him as well, in a case of 12.5 million, that could put us in really good stead. You can see we've just gone under our wage and transfer budget. So this should change that massively. If we look at the history though, the reason we've been able to bring players in is that Andy Zakiri left for Basel. £1.1 million rising to 1.4. We said in the summer we wouldn't be devastated if he went. He already started declining physically this season. He's a backup player, not the best goal scorer in the last couple of years perhaps. And to be honest, he was on 45 grand a week. He was our second highest paid player. And I don't think he was worth it. So another one, big off the wage bill, a little bit off the transfer budget. And it's allowed our director of football to play around a bit. So that, in addition with the sell-on clauses and the appearance fee clauses we got in the last episode that we talked about, has allowed the director of football to bring in 3 more players. And finally, not centre midfielders, a Patrizio Di Francesco from Roma, £1.7 million for the 23-year-old Italian striker. 3-star ability, 3.5 potential. Crucially, likes to run with the ball and is a natural right winger as well. So he gives us a proper option out there. And he hasn't been a massive goal scorer for his Italian clubs in the past. Empoli, Roma and Genoa. So I'm hoping that he'll be a bit more of a winger for us moving forward. What was good to see though is that after that 2 strong defenders have come in. First, Jamie Bartholomew from Arsenal for £2.9 million. Again, very good wage, only 14 grand a week. 3-star ability centre-half, can also cover at right-back if needed. He's just a solid centre-back. A left-footer, which gives us a little bit of natural balance too. I'm quite pleased with that. So here's a former under-21 England international. Is going to be a real prospect for us. And a good opportunity for us to get someone who's a threat from set pieces, works hard, and is happy to just be part of the squad too. And arguably, he's been topped by Joseph Mwanga, who's coming from LA Galaxy for £3.4 million. There's a few little add-ons as well. Now, here's a natural left-back and centre-half at 3-star ability. 2-footed, not bad in the cross, but a very good defensive fullback. Naturally fit, good in the jump as well. I'm thinking it gives us that little bit more height and that little bit more aerial threat from fullback too. So another option out there where we didn't really have much depth. And with Murray Reid then coming back at right back, the skipper, I feel like we've then got a pretty good defence. We've got 2 in every position. We lost out on the lad from AC Milan who we were looking at in the last episode. I think he chose to swallow in the end rather than us. And of course, we're still a little short on the wings with that Finn Malcolm situation not sorted up front. But it is starting to take shape. It's just happening a bit late, which will mean a slow start to the season. But that is not going to be an excuse for Rangers fans when we go away to Celtic Park. In the old firm, there are no excuses. You have to be at your best and you have to put in a performance. This is the lineup that we played, I think, in midweek. I'm just seeing if we want to make any changes because Henderson not really offered a lot so far this season. Do I put Finn Malcolm in and think that dressing room? He's not going to be worried about that negativity when he's playing in an old firm. Let's go for it. Finn Malcolm's our best striker. He starts. We've got 3 good defenders there, a couple of good midfielders and a centre forward. And we've also got options outside the squad. It's starting to get there. This is the 11 for today though. It's Fangero in goal. Himself had a really poor start to the season. Fevrier and Martins the fullbacks with Burns and Bellis at centre half. Smorgon and Palumbo in the middle. Griffith possibly his last appearance on the wing. Gertson on the left. And then Batista behind Finn Malcolm up front. It's almost back to what we lost against Kilmarnock with. Let's see if we can do a little better today. We will drop to balance once we get into the match. But it's the first old firm we've ever been in charge of. And for all the elite, massive clubs we've managed, this game will probably be the most intense. Let's go and get into it and see if we can restrict our rivals who'll be favourites. So, Nathan Ferguson in the Celtic defence, a good player. Branthwaite, who ironically we had alongside Harwood Bellis at Cliftonville in our FM20 save. But it's a good Celtic side. It's a side that have won the league 6 years in a row. We are underdogs here, but we've got a job to try and put on a performance and try and do something special. If we win this game, it could be the biggest turning point for our start at Rangers. I know that's a very big ask though. Let's go and see what we can do. The back 3, always our nemesis in this game. Let's see if we can hold them off. As very early doors, it's a Celtic throw on the right. Tete gets the ball to the byline, cuts it back to Ilic. This is what happened against Club Brugge. We conceded in the second minute. And from there, we were fighting an uphill battle. Of course, we do have very good memories against Celtic in the past, though. Our first ever trophy with Dundee. That was a big cup final against Celtic as they hit the bar from the corner kick. It's been a pretty even start in fairness, albeit Celtic having more of the possession, more of the chances too. We're hanging on in there as Fangero's got a goal kick, nearly 20 on the clock. Big long ball downfield towards Griffith. Flicks down for Batista, the summer signing. He goes wide to Morten Gertson. Back from injury and looking a superstar as he gets into the box. Turned his defender inside out, but his shot was straight into the side netting. Probably should have delivered for his forward there. And maybe that's where the little fractures in the dressing room are causing problems. A small goal picks it up in a centre circle. We're growing into it. It's got a man over on the left again in Gertson. Tries to switch it right. It was the wrong decision. It's headed away as far as Rakic, He comes over halfway. Good challenge from Smorgon. Loses out in the first challenge and the second. That is inexcusable in a derby. Their players flying into challenges, winning every ball, and we're whimpering out of them. Not good enough from Rangers. We talked when we very first joined this club about mentality. There's not a lot of determined people here, though Batista, the new signing's one of them. Up to Griffith. Finn Malcolm plays Smorgon in to Palumbo. To Batista! There you go. On the counter-attack. That is a brilliant goal. We have shown not a lot since we've joined this football club in truth. The football has not been great. The attacking threat has not been great. The defending has been atrocious. But that counter-attacking goal could go a long way. That's the type of move we like to see. Let's not throw it away now, though, as Palumbo plays it in his own half to left-back Martins. Gets it back, then concedes possession. Stop playing across goal. Gargo gets into the box. Burns brings him down. Simple trip. Clumsy defending. Penalty kick. And just like that, it's all over. Who's going to take it for Celtic? It's going to be a left-footer. Tete steadies himself. The skipper. Wide of the post. Is this our lucky day? We've not been great here. Bar that move for the goal, we have not been great. But it's still 1-0 Rangers. And at the moment, we're clinging on by a thread. This result, it doesn't matter how we play. This result could change everything. And at half-time, somehow, we're 1-0 up at Celtic Park. Celtic have dominated. They've got the bigger expected goals. They've had a penalty. They've had nearly all of the possession. But we've got the goal. And let's see if we can make it count. Into the second half we go. 45 minutes to hold on. Just cross everything as it's a Celtic corner in the very first minute of the half. Martins heads it back out wide to Gargo. Striker taking the corner. Very weird. Good delivery though. Down to Conde. Couldn't even hold on for 1 minute. for 1 minute, and it's a set piece as well. I mean, there were 3 or 4 players in that move that got 2-3 yards of space in our own penalty area. And that's a deserved goal for Celtic. And to be honest, we've done very little defensively. As Ilic gets the ball again, I've got a real need for a rethink at the back. I know the fullbacks aren't great and Murray Reid is injured and we've got other ones coming in, but it's really not good enough. As Tete gets it on the right hand side, back to Conde, into the box, and within 4 minutes we have collapsed from 1-0 up. It is pathetic defensively. And you know what? I don't know if we're going to get the time we need to fix Rangers here. But if we are, there's going to be a big overhaul. I'm going to have to upset players. I've accepted that. I'm going to have to upset a good 6 or 7 of these players to force them out of the club via director of football. Of course, we can't just make the transfers ourselves. It does make it harder. Going forward, there is a little bit of talent. Batista, the summer signing's good. Gertson's a cracking player. Palumbu, when he gets to get on the ball, is a good footballer. But at the moment, there's too many weeds in this club. Whether that be mentality, whether that be attitude, or whether that be quality. And there's a lot that needs fixing. So I'm not sure we're going to be able to do this overnight. But Celtic have the lead. I've got to make changes. But I don't think it's going to be enough today. Finn Malcolm is going to be taken off again. He's been appalling since we've joined. Henderson on up front, nervous. I mean, that's not helpful. Di Francesco will come on the right wing for Griffith. He will be a winger on attack. Maybe even a Ramdoita with his attributes. It's worth a go, I think. Let's go for it. And then Palumbu is on a yellow card in the middle. I can't afford to risk him. We're going to bring on Martin out. Batista will drop into centre mids. And we'll leave it at that. Half an hour to go. Celtic in the lead. And Rangers defensively, I mean, they're just awful. As Celtic have got a throw on the left-hand side. Almir into Rakic. Back to the winger again. Scored that second goal. It's another penalty. Put in a proper challenge. Just throwing out a lazy leg. It's pathetic to watch. It's Martin Alder number 10. I'd rather you not even bother to ample back if all you're going to do is just half-heartedly stick a leg out so the player can fall over it. Conde gets his second of the game, slides it away in style. There is so much that angers me in this team. From managing at the very elite level for the last 4 to 5 years, to now come back and watch this is infuriating. 2.5 years at Tottenham in the top echelons of the English game. A year at Real Madrid and Juventus competing for every trophy. And now this. Watching Rangers crumble. And this isn't a lack of quality here. This isn't even chasing your man. Rakic lobs the keeper for 4. And the defender didn't even bother to chase him. There is a lot of work that needs to be done here. And I'm not naive enough to think it doesn't. I think we're going to have to commit to, in the next 6 months, putting our wing-backs on defensive duty. Probably just having a flat back 4 that defends. And then working the rest as an attacking force. Because whenever the wing-backs go forward, we concede. I mean, even when they're back there, look at Fevrier now. He's gone narrow because he's scared to engage the ball. So now we've had small goal drift out wide. He can't defend it. The cross comes into the box. Free header onto the crossbar. I know at Juventus we had a couple of beatings last year. I know that we had a couple of really tough days on the road. But I don't think I've ever been more angry with a side than this first month at Rangers. Because at Juventus it was a lack of ability. It was a lack of know-how. At Real Madrid it was just a bad few games. At Tottenham we were brilliant. Here it is a case of lack of mentality, poor attitude, failing to try and engage the ball. And if these boys do not recover on Thursday night at home at Ibrox in Europe, it's going to be unforgivable. Branthwaite in for 5. What's the keeper doing? What's the defender doing? Does anyone actually want to win this game? I'm speechless. I'm going to leave the rest of this game now. And hopefully we can recover on Thursday night. Because that was absolutely pathetic. You'll know what we'll be doing in the dressing room with the lads. I'll see you in a moment. Sorry, I've got to come back and show you this. Finley Burns, our star centre-half, 29 years of age, 100 games for Rangers, incredibly experienced, has decided that I was too harsh on the team because I slated them for a 5-1 defeat against Celtic and collapsing. I mean, seriously. I just don't understand it. The problem is now, I've got to try and get them back on side. I am going to force a lot of these players out of the club because there's a lot of weakness here and we need to make big changes. We've got to rely on a few of them for Thursday night. We'll be back in a moment for that. But don't think a lot of these are going to be here for long. We are going to see a very big overhaul at Glasgow Rangers. This is going to be a 2-year rebuilding job. Well, another rejected bid, this time from Watford for Fangero, the goalkeeper. And we've had more bad news. Unfortunately, Imam Griffith has worked out what a good deal he was on here at Rangers, because he has rejected Watford. I mean, he's earning 52 grand a week here. Why would he go? He's 30 years of age. He's clearly not going to get a better deal. And that leaves us in a difficult position for Thursday, because signings can't come in until someone goes out. There's no budget left. I'm not really sure how this is going to end. And if we don't get into the Europa League and the added prize money with that, I think we could be in big trouble. It's a minimum expectation from the board as well. We have still got Di Francesco available, but the two new defenders not in the squad for this one. So we're back to the weak bench. However, we've made some changes at fullback. We've gone to support duties fullback rather than wing backs. In midfield, I'm tempted to drop Palumbo to a defensive duty, but I'm not sure that helps us at this stage. So instead, what I've done, I've gone to slightly shorter passing. We've taken off the overlaps. We're playing through the middle instead. We're going to distribute to the centre halves. We're going to stay on our feet and play more centrally. And I just hope that makes a difference. The 11, I'm tempted to go the same, but I'm not. I'm going to put Malcolm off for Henderson up front. I'm going to take Griffith off of the right-hand side for Di Francesco. He is going to be a Ramdeuter. And I think we just have to get as many fresh legs in there as possible. As many people who haven't got mental baggage. I would love nothing more than to change the left back, but for that I'd need one of the other two fit. So our 11 for today sees just two changes. Henderson and Di Francesco in, Malcolm and Griffith out. Let's see if we can do it. We need to win to get into the Europa League group stages. And if we concede an away goal, we need to win by 2. Let's see if we can do it. I'm not optimistic. And here we go. Andrew Richards does start for Club Brugge. Of course, got those 2 goals against us, the Welsh international. De Jonge, the wonder kid we looked at a couple of episodes ago, is on the bench for them. That's how strong they are. We're going to say we want a much better performance. We're going to start positive. We're just going to try and control the ball and see if it makes a difference. We'll have a solid defensive base. And as I say this, we're going straight from the kickoff for Club Brugge. This cannot be a good sign. As the ball goes out wide to Jolson, takes on the fullback. Still beats him with ease. Martin's not even there. Into Abigail, to Verheist, to Xerxes. Absolutely pathetic. 20 seconds on the clock. The fullback on the left-hand side didn't make a tackle. The fullback on the right-hand side didn't track his runner. What is the point of us trying to be more defensively solid if they're not even going to put the effort in? I'm speechless. We now need 3. Harwood Bellis to small goal. I'm sure you can sense my frustration as Gertson's in on the left. He is the one real bright spark in this team. He's a proper good footballer. He's a proper good attacker. And with all the others having sulks or not producing their best, Gertson is what we're hanging our hopes on as the corner kick into the box is headed clear. Martins finally gets there first to Batista on the right. The corner taker still out there. Crosses for Gertson. He scores again. 9 minutes gone. Gertson has given us 2 lifelines. This is the only result that will take us to extra time. But without a Gertson hat-trick and possibly 4 or 5 from him, I have no hope of us getting through. Come on, Gertson, be the single-handed hero. I promise, by next season, I'll get you proper support here. Whether I have to thump the others out of the club myself, and hopefully the director of football will get the hint, or even if we just tell all of them we don't want them anymore, as Batista puts a cross into the box, comes back out to him, challenged well, and now we've got a situation where they can counter us. They switch the play to Xerxes, the scorer. His header only as far as small goal. Back to Harwood Bellis. That was Fevrier, got a 7.2. Did you watch him not follow his runner for the goal? Fevrier again, up to Henderson, flicks on. Gertson can't quite get there. The keeper clears it downfield as far as Fevrier. He picks it up for Harwood Bellis. Wide to Di Francesco. It's a small goal. Come on, get that 3rd goal. Get us ahead in the tie. Loses out and now the counter's on. We're just so weak in a tackle that the back pass is poor. Henderson nicks in, gets into the box himself. And the shot is absolutely woeful. Nearly goes out for a throw-in at the far side. But we tend to the break. We've shown a bit of fight at least, as Jolson puts a corner in. Finley Burns heads away. Jolson gets there again. Delivers into the box. Harwood Bellis wins it. Gertson finds Burns. Now counter. Now counter at speed. It's wide left to Henderson. 2 inside of him. Show a bit of fight. Show a bit of determination. Show some guts, boys. Harwood Bellis can play right. There's 2 out there. Fevrier's got 1 in front of him. Di Francesco wants it. Goes back to the centre half instead. Fevrier up to small goal. To Di Francesco. He's got it on the right-hand side to Batista, really grown into this game. As I say that, he loses the ball. Fevrier, the right-back, picks it up, though, to Harwood Bellis. Palumbo to Batista. Di Francesco beats the sliding challenge. Into the box, Di Francesco! Wide of the near post. It was his moment to shine. But coming up to half-time, there's positive signs going forward as Batista crosses it in. Free kick again in a dangerous position. Headed away, Martins doesn't even want to attack it. Finally does run onto the ball. Gets towards the byline. Can he cross? Martins puts it in. To Smorgon on the edge. That's a brilliant strike. Kasper Smorgon with a half volley. He has been the most positive of the two centre midfielders. And for the first time, we are ahead in this tie. It is Rangers 3, Club Brugge 1 on the night. It's 4-3 on aggregate. And my word, we can't defend. But going forward, we're starting to look a real threat. Morten Gertsen, his unbelievable attacking prowess cannot be underestimated in this team. I'm sorry I doubted him when we first joined the club, because he's the man at the moment who's single-handedly taken us through. We are back as we're on the counter again with Batista. He gets it from a headed clearance. Hillen intercepts though and clears long. Harwood Bellis up strong. Morten Gertsen in loses the tackle. Palumbo picks it up though. He finds it through to Henderson. Puts it in, but I think the flag will go up. We're certainly going to VAR there. I've just switched Palumbo to a deep line playmaker on defend. I wonder if that'll make a bit of a difference going backwards. Di Francesco's had an average game, as has Henderson. So let's go and make a couple of changes. Griffith on for Di Francesco. He will be a winger on attack. I think we're going to try and push forward a little bit more now. I'm also going to take Henderson off now for Finn Malcolm for the last 20 minutes. And we'll save the third and final sub because we're starting to look quite good now. 1 goal for Club Brugge though, and we're out. That's all it takes at the minute. And now we've got a crisis. Morten Gertsen is injured. We cannot afford to lose him. I'm going to bring on Hadji, traditional winger on support. We need to have a defensive structure. And these are the boys I'm relying on for it. 9 minutes plus stoppages. No goals or a Rangers goal, we're through. A Club Brugge goal, we're out. And there's 5 minutes added on. We're 2 minutes into it. I'm getting the time wasting on. I'm sorry, we haven't said this for a little while. On goes the time wasting. On goes the discipline. In transition, slow it down. Hold your shape. Regroup when you lose the ball. We're not going to go for an engaging line. We're not going to press the keeper. We're going to try and cling on for 3 more minutes as Iman Griffith picks it up on the right to Fevrier. Can we keep the ball? Can we show professionalism? We can't. You know my superstition. I'm cancelling the changes for now as Harwood Bellis intercepts the ball forward. Fevrier gives it back to him again. Just punts it hopelessly. I don't really get that. We've got short passing on. Have a bit of game management. Have a bit of composure, boys. Moreno on the right-hand side. Don't you dare. Back to the edge. Small goal heads clear. Batista can counter. Come on, wrap it up. Get Finn Malcolm a goal. Get us a bit of confidence. Malcolm goes all the way into the area. Beats his defender to the byline. Back to Hadji. What's a save? Back to him again. Blocked. Lucarelli's on the counter. My word. We can't even get the time wasting on. It's constant attacks. As Martins picks it up on the left-hand side. Got an overlap on the left. Gives it away. Down for Palumbo. It is edgy as seat, nail-biting stuff. Martins on the left yet again. Gets towards the byline. Can he cross? He finds Griffith. It's blocked. And now they've got a counter on. But Fevrier intercepts. Beats his man on the right-hand side. Goes back to Smorgon. To Malcolm. To Batista. To Griffith. Loses out again. Just keep the ball, please. I've got shorter passing on. This will make a massive difference to the save if we can win this. It'll be a real positive end to the episode. Fevrier gets it on the right to Batista. Griffith to Malcolm. There we go. In Finn Malcolm we trust, and that is why. Finn Malcolm scores his first of the season. End that unhappiness. Get in the Europa League squad. And do what you can for this football club. 4-1 on the night. 5-3 on aggregate. That is the perfect antidote to the Celtic display. Fingers crossed with those new defensive changes tactically and with the 2 new defenders that can come in now. We're going to start to look a different side. Morten Gertsen's injury, just a few days. Some much needed money coming into the club. Murray Reid should be back after the international break. So we're going to get through Dundee and this big spell of what should be winnable fixtures. And then I think we come back for Europa League action. Of course, we'll see what group we end up in, where the fixtures fall. I like the look of Hibs at home, because obviously that's our last club we managed in Scotland and the club that we're trying to overhaul this season before Celtic next year. So if you're looking forward to seeing that, and of course we will be back next episode for our debut as England manager in the Nations League 2, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM21 content from 2 long-term stories. Let me know what you think of the tactical changes. Was it just that Celtic are that much better than us, or have we managed to tweak things and fix them a bit? I guess we'll get our answer over the next month or so, and I'll see you next time for our England manager debut. They're big games as well. We'll be facing Germany and Italy in our first 2 in charge. I'll see you there to find out how we get on.